Hello everyone, and welcome back to Input Left's Pokemon Diamond Randomizer Nuzlocke. We're still chugging along. It's episode 50. We're on our way to the 8th gym, and I think we're raring to go. You know, it shouldn't be too much longer. I think.
This boy, he's sweating. He's sweating a river. They say cry me a river. I say sweat me a river. As he bikes back and forth and retraces his steps 3 times because there's not enough content.
All right, let's see our encounter here.
Oh, already? Okay. Barely get it.
We already have a
game. He's gonna reroll.
We got a juicy reroll here.
So, how's it been?
Go ahead. It's been pretty good. So I think in one of the recent. Oh yeah, that's so good. That's what I want. In one of the recent episodes, I wanted to touch back on this a little bit. Although it might be a little spoilery, but I'll talk about it anyways. We were talking about the new, quote unquote new. It's also a reroll. Ace Attorney game that just came to the Switch. It's sort of a new localization.
Oh, you're not gonna spoil me. You're not gonna spoil me.
I'm not gonna spoil you. No.
All right.
It's a new localization of 2 games that were previously on the 3DS, right?
Yep.
This is a legit encounter though. Little Badu. And yeah, so it's the first time I've ever played them. I think there may have been a fan translation or something, but I never bothered with it. So I'm enjoying myself. I just finished the first game, and so I've started the second game. And I just want to say, just to follow up on that thread from last time, I'm liking it. Now I know you've gotten a little hung up on the second case of the first game, and without getting into the details of why that is, I just want to say I really think you should stick with it because the game basically just gets better as you go along, you know.
So you said you finished the first game entirely?
Yes.
You know, has your mom ever tell you to make things last? You're not gonna get another Phoenix Wright experience. Pace yourself, my dude.
No, you're so right. I won't get another one for probably a couple of years. I imagine that they consider this even though it's just a port in Japan, right? They probably are still yeah, this is good. This has us covered for 3 years. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to amend that. If any of you guys are interested in the Phoenix Wright games, you've played any before, I recommend this one. It's really good value. It's $40 for 2 entire games. So, yeah, I think it's good.
And the animations are really nice.
Yeah, I do want to note that I think it's the best 3D Phoenix Wright has ever looked. Definitely.
Jackson.
Sound design is great as always. So.
Okay, we have to name this person.
Yes. It's a little bud. It's gonna. So you remember this becomes Roselia, which is Statue of Liberty almost vibes, and then it becomes Roserade, which is masquerade kind of dancer vibes. So what are we thinking here?
So Roserade is almost French inspired, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you could make that argument. Yeah. I do want to know, by the way, your mic is sounding a little crispier today. I don't know if anything's different there.
Sorry, I have bad allergies, so I'm kind of going on and off. And then also my mic software also upgraded. So I need to figure that out. Updated, upgraded.
Yeah.
It's called it's called the G Hub.
Right. I'm familiar.
The magic G Hub. Well, before I had the blue, the logic.
Oh yeah, no, I've been using the G Hub for a little bit. Yeah.
I know you've been touching the G Hub for a long time.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with the G Hub.
Do you know?
Took me a little bit to find it, but I've well and truly found it at this point. Yeah.
Okay, I got a pretty funny one. So, You know how Emmanuel Macron married his wife is 40 years older than him and was his teacher or something? Is that fake news? Is that real?
I think it's real. I don't know.
Bridget Macron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridget Macron, born 1953. is a French school teacher who is the wife and former teacher of Emmanuel Macron.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you didn't know this.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we need this. So, yeah, he was born in 1977. She was born in 1953.
Oh, that's kind of...
She was the 24-year-old. Actually, she was 24 years older than him. So you just imagine, like, it was his typical, like, teacher crush, and she reciprocated, and here they are. So I think Brigitte Macron, I think it's her. So Brigitte. That's my pitch.
See, this is where face cams would really come in handy, because I've just had like an agape expression for the last like minute.
I can't believe you haven't heard this as an imperialist, you know.
I mean, I think I knew that his wife is older than him. I didn't know that specifically. At least I don't think I knew it at any point. So yeah, I was gonna say, like, I like the French angle. I was thinking of, like, you know, how many female French politicians do I know? And there's only one that comes to mind, which is Marie Le Pen.
Yeah, we haven't done her yet.
And I don't know, we haven't. And but I also don't think I want to, like, I kind of like Rosary on some level, right? And I don't know, like Skuntank would almost be better, because I think of like Pepe Le Pew, so like a female Skuntank, but I think we got a Skuntank already and we named it Marjorie Taylor Greene, so
which is another good one for that.
Basically the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Her American counterpart.
I'm pretty.
You know what? Sure, let's go with Brigitte. Brigitte. I don't know if she's really involved in politics outside of her husband's career, but whatever.
I mean,
we're running out of ideas.
First lady, right? I mean.
Yeah, but like there have been plenty of American first ladies who just like aren't that into it. I mean, like obviously Michelle Obama ended up becoming quite an involved political figure, but she's been very outspoken about how she never really wanted that, right? And does not want to become a politician in her own right.
She is the youngest of 6 children, the owners of the 5-generation chocolaterie Tregno, founded in 1872.
1872. Wow.
Yeah, so she's got real generational wealth. Okay, this is great. Brigitte Azier taught literature at the Collège Luxembourg in Strasbourg in the 1980s. By the 1990s, she was teaching French and Latin in Lycée La Providence, a Jesuit high school in Amiens.
Yeah.
It was at the high school. Yeah. It was at the high school that she and Emmanuel Macron first met. He attended her literature classes, and she was at Doki Doki. He attended her literature classes, and she was in charge of the theater class he attended. The relationship has attracted controversy, as she was his senior by 25 years, and Macron has described it as a love often clandestine, often hidden, often misunderstood by many before imposing itself.
Yeah. I mean, she
ran for city council at one point. She lost, but so that means like she is.
There you go. That's good enough for us, I guess.
Yeah.
City councilor. I was gonna say, like, oftentimes when I hear about these scandalous like teacher-student things, it is often a high school student who's like, you know, 17 or something. But then usually the teacher, if it's like a consensual thing, right? Like this supposedly is. It's the teacher's usually like in their 20s, you know?
Right.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, I don't like that. You know, I don't like it at all. But you can kind of see it, like, in the sense that, like, you can see the high schoolers, what the high schoolers are getting out of it, you know?
Yeah.
But she was already like 25 years older than him.
Yeah, so she must have been
so she was like 40 or whatever.
Yeah, 37 to 41. Yeah.
That's kind of... I don't know about that at all.
At least their love it's a clandestine love, apparently.
You know, yeah, Macron, count me among the oft-misunderstood. Okay, you know, that's all I can say.
Apparently, he proposed creating a First Lady title officially for president, which doesn't have... France doesn't have that title. And to give her staff and an office and a budget. And then there was a petition against that proposal, and then so the government announced that they would not give her the title or allocate a budget. In an interview with French magazine,
she's even less politically relevant.
She stated that a soon-to-be published transparency charter would clarify her role and accompanying resources. Yeah. Oh geez. Okay. Here's the ages. She at the age of 40 met the 15-year-old Emmanuel Macron in La Providence High School in the year 1993, where she was a teacher and he was a student and a classmate of her daughter, Lawrence. No.
Okay, I'm out. No.
He was a classmate of her daughter.
I know that Macron was running against Marie Le Pen when he was elected.
Right.
I understand why that was such a close race.
So
holy shit, that's so funny.
So let's just picture
I'm
this.
sorry.
I'm ageist. He probably goes out with the daughter. He comes home with the daughter. Then he sees.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that it's a Stacy's mom situation. We don't know that.
I'm just imagining. I think it's so funny. Your sister over here.
If he was 18 or like closer to it, I would be like, okay, there is some humor there almost, but 15, like, come on, dude. He hasn't even gone through puberty yet. That's crazy.
Yep.
I don't know.
Wow. I just don't even know where to start with this one.
I think we should move on. I think it's time to move on to greener pastures. And there was a pasture I wanted to discuss with you, but it slipped my mind. So if you have anything to talk about while I attempt to recall it, please.
I went inside. I saw line 3.
What?
I saw line 3, the pipeline. Have you been following that at all?
What?
Line 3, the pipeline. Line 3.
I don't know what you're talking
oil
about.
pipelines. Pipelines. We love a good pipeline.
I mean, I know a few oil pipelines, but that's not one I'm familiar with. No.
Line 3 is the current Canadian to U.S. oil pipeline that is being constructed. So I'm sure you've heard of Keystone XL. And,
well, yeah.
And then what else has been in the last 5 years?
I know there's another one.
There's another big one. Anyway, this time it's line 3. So Joe Biden has been called upon to stop it. So has
Joe Biden.
So has Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota. They're not. There's a lot of pressure from corporation basically. Enbridge. We love a good Enbridge. And it goes through, Well, actually, would you like to take a guess about what kind of land it goes through 50 times?
Let's see. I'll take tribal land for 200,
Yeah, exactly. It rhymes with blindigenous bland. Yeah. So.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
So there was a no trespassing sign. I trespassed. I got real close. We got some pictures.
Oh, you really crossed the line 3.
Yeah.
Here's what you're saying.
I got up to line 3. Yeah, I crossed it. I jumped.
Close and personal with line 3.
Yeah. But I'm not. I didn't take the next level of participation, which is chain yourself to it, which I didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't want to get bulldozed.
Right, exactly. Some people are into that. That gives them a sense of
flatten me. Yeah, that's definitely a new thing I heard.
Yeah, bulldoze me, baby. Yeah. But I met. So do you know who Winona LaDuke is?
I thought you were gonna say Winona Ryder for a second there.
No.
I don't think I do. No, but I suspect there is a small part of me that feels like I'm gonna recognize them once you describe.
Sure. Okay. Big indigenous activist, also for the other pipeline fights. And then actually ran as she was vice president on the Green Party ticket in the famous 2000 election.
Okay. I don't actually know her. It turns out.
Okay.
But that's an interesting fact.
Well, I met her. She's very famous in Minnesota. I've met her 4 times probably. It's one of those So I know her, but she doesn't know me, no matter how many times I meet her.
Okay.
Because
Thanks for the clarification.
I do not compare. So no matter how many times I introduce myself, it's not going to matter.
Well, you haven't been the vice president in any race yet, so.
Right. Right. And she just knows a lot of people and stuff. So anyway, but she came up to us and was like, hey, you want to see my hemp farm? And we were like, oh yeah.
I suspect you in particular.
Yeah.
Very enthralled at that process.
Unfortunately, she only does the hemp fiber, not actually like.
What?
I know.
Oh, what a ripoff, dude.
I know.
Oh, that's crazy.
But she believes that hemp fiber is basically the future,
the revolution,
the future of the regenerative economy. Like,
so I was right.
Yeah, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'm gonna come out and say this. Every leftist basically thinks that whatever their particular like hobby or niche is the key to overthrowing capitalism.
Right. This is true.
Like we're also, like this gaming channel is the key to overthrowing capitalism.
It's true. It's all true. It's all fucking true. But hear me out. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Also. Okay, yeah, here we are. All right, this is what she was all about. So she has a hemp farm. Hemp fiber, basically all the kind of like fibers we produce are absolutely terrible. Like, obviously for the environment, right? Like, you think about silks and cottons and like all that stuff. Like at scale, well, all that stuff at scale is like horrible, horrible for the environment. Hemp fibers, it's pretty like restorative for the soil. It's good for the soil. It's good for the health of the environment. Like, hemp is actually like really good to be producing. The only problem with it is like we lost the technology of how to process it. Like, apparently like there are bridges in Latin America that are like over you know, giant ravines that are made entirely of hemp fiber. But ever since like
the classic like, you know, like the movies where you have the long like rope bridge across some giant chasm, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's how cool. Like hemp fiber, like it's like, you know, extremely durable, extremely strong, and basically once marijuana was illegalized, there was no hemp like industry. So
no research into it.
Shut up.
But, no, I'm being that's like a completely legitimate thing, right? Like research into that. Like everything connected to marijuana would have been considered illicit, right? It really would have stalled. Like,
but it's not just that.
I was being totally genuine.
No, sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were joking.
Jesus,
but it's not just that like we didn't make progress. It's that we actually lost. Like, there's no recorded like how was this made? Like,
it may have even been destroyed intentionally.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, well, that's what she said. That's what she said. That's what Winona LaDuke, environmental activist, and indigenous water warrior, said. Just giving her a good title. But
that sounds a lot cooler than most titles. So
yeah. She was like, they burned the books. Like, the history's gone. We don't know how they did it. But so like everyone who does hemp production in the United States, like hemp fibers, needs to actually like export that back to China, because China has some of the scale to like process, but she wants to get to the point where like there's US hemp processing that takes on all the like corporate, you know, materials production.
You know, I respect that. I don't think it's going to work the way she thinks it will.
Hemp.
I knew one of these was gonna be a traitor, by the way.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
I mean, the hemp economy.
I wanted to just note that like
growing. This is. It's no Bitcoin, you know.
Yeah, right. I wanted to note, by the way, though, that like this is actually not the first time that, you know, at least part of human civilization has lost a technology.
Oh yeah.
Concrete, for instance, famously is used by the ancient Romans, but you know, it took hundreds and hundreds of years for us to recover that. Once we sort of enter more of the medieval era, at least in the West.
We still
and of course, you know, the Middle Eastern like civilizations preserved a lot of things that the ancient like Greeks and maybe even Romans would have like developed in terms of law and science and mathematics, and developed it further as well, while, you know, the rest of Europe was divided up into little, you know, tribes and the like for hundreds of years. So it's not uncommon for that to happen.
We still don't know how to make Greek fire. Like, there's all these writings about fire that could burn underwater, right? Like, there's all these references to Greek fire historically. And we still like we have a vague idea maybe, but we don't have like the actual knowledge of how could fire burn underwater. Like I think that's considered for some a lot of people theorize it's just a lost technology thing.
It's possible. I feel like we've probably surpassed it to some extent, but for instance, I've learned that like flares, I think many flares developed today can burn underwater, right? So there's that at least. And one might also think that the descriptions of Greek fire burning in water may be somewhat fanciful, and that they were perhaps just like pouring oil onto the surface of water and setting that alight, possibly. Like maybe that's sort of what was going on. I don't know nearly enough about it, but it's possible that they had something that we still haven't recovered.
Me neither.
Can we stop with all the ice types? I'm trying to leave.
Well, another thing I just learned about was like adobe houses in like the modern day American South. That the indigenous peoples built like had air conditioning, zero power air conditioning, and the way you would do it is actually Andrew, our friend Andrew, Andrew M. Told me this one. He said basically like, I think he was the one who told me that basically they put water in between like the windows, and that's in like the way air travels. If you have two windows and you create a cross breeze, and if you put water in between the windows, like it's just a natural air conditioner that works actually really well. And
super cool.
Like they tested it and it works, and it's like, oh, we could just make zero power air conditioning if we wanted to. Which is pretty wild.
Well, I thought even like the way that those tribes of modern day Southwestern America, the way they constructed those Pueblo buildings was at the time like not something that the colonizers knew how to do.
Right.
Like that was a completely new form of construction to them. Like the mud baked clay and everything. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how like different parts of humanity over history adapted to their environments and created technologies that they kind of needed to survive in some ways that other sects of humanity from other parts of the world never developed, and some even to this day in some parts of the world we don't even fully understand how these older technologies were made.
I took a history class at one point, and they had like the teacher was like an Africanist, so like an African studies person, and she was basically talking about how it's so important that we don't, and so it's like the idea that technology is like a one-way track, and that it goes forward, and so you're either forward or backward, kind of on the tech tree.
Right.
It's so like not only is it dangerous, it's just false. Like
it's more of a web, isn't it?
Like all over the world, people develop both cultural values and scientific discoveries that like others don't have, and the idea particularly that like indigenous tribes were like far behind the Europeans in technology and the rest of the world is like not true at all.
No, it's not true. They prioritize different technologies.
They had different tools available. Also, she made a lot of points oftentimes about like basically tried to like reteach us like or to teach us, I guess, and help us unlearn like guns were not good when the Europeans invaded, and there was no guarantee that colonization kind of. There were a lot of lucky things that let that happen at the rate it did, but like there were a lot of lost battles. There were a lot of like just complete decimations of European people.
And Custer's Last Stand is like a very famous battle where a bunch of like colonizers with guns got absolutely fucked by Native Americans on horseback with spears. Although some of them probably had guns as well at that point. Yeah. Right? But it's certainly true though. But you're absolutely right.
Like guns were not strictly better than spears at the time. Like that's how bad guns were.
No, I mean that's why they had fucking bayonets on the end of them, right? Because you needed a pointy stick. You could only really shoot them once typically.
Right.
And I mean you look at like for instance, famously the Zulu as well in Africa, whose military tactics and defensive formations and the like were so far advanced, so much better than what the Europeans had been doing because they just all stood in a row and shot guns.
Right.
That the Europeans, if it hadn't been for the germs, which is the more important gun, the most important part of the guns, germs, and steels triad, right?
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for those, I don't think they would have made much headway into Africa. The Zulu were so much better at military combat than them.
Mm-hmm. Biowarfare.
Yeah.
So,
I need to switch.
where in the game? When is the next gym? We have one more gym, right?
Yeah, it's just in the next city up here.
Okay, so we'll get it in the next couple episodes probably.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was what a crazy and productive discussion we just had there. When you say, let's move on to something new that is more fun. I mean, that was fun, but in like a kind of somber sense.
Yeah, it started with pipelines, so.
Right.
But did you think about that thing?
Guess what I've been up to? I've been invading pipelines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what did you think of the thing you were trying to remember?
I think so. I think it wasn't as like deep as I thought it might be.
Oh, okay.
I think it's basically I just want to talk about now. This is a throwback to a much earlier episode in the series, when we famously stayed up until like 3 a.m. to watch the reveal of the anime adaptation of Part 6 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Well, last night, as of this recording, there was a not quite so late and honestly much better handled presentation that was like pre-recorded but like distributed live just in like a little late evening. So we watched that. It was an hour long. A lot of fun. At least I watched it live.
Yeah,
you might have been chained to a pipeline or something. I don't know.
I went to sleep early, but I saw your texts.
Yeah. And this is like a much fuller reveal. We got a trailer and everything. We got a release window. And it looks so good. I think for context again. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, you can just look it up. Like Netflix posted it to. I assumed you would have seen it by now.
No, I mean I just got what you texted me, which was a lot. But
it was like 4 things. Come on.
It was a stand rush, if you will.
A
spam rush, even.
But yeah, like so. The main takeaways are, I'm somebody who has read the manga. Joe has not. Just to clarify that again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really excited for it. I think it looks awesome. And it's coming to Netflix worldwide in December, right? That's an important element of this. Because what it likely indicates is that it sounds as though they will be dropping a lot of episodes at once. Now, I don't think they're dropping all like 39 episodes at once. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. I think it's going to be... They're gonna drop like the first half of those at once.
So
which is still a lot.
I just want to read your texts for the audience.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yesterday, 10:02 p.m. Subs are looking good. Pre-recorded. Lol. This was about like
the intro to the presentation.
Yeah. Second text. Sounds like actual reveals won't happen until the end. Lol. Think it's an hour.
That wasn't actually true. They were like halfway through.
Third text. Not surprised Netflix snatched it up. Mind you, most of this could be in one text. Not surprised Netflix snatched it up.
Oh, but these all happened. Like I was live texting you, right?
I'm just kidding.
Don't you dare. This could have been an email.
Yeah, so this is 10:02, 10:03, 10:52. Mind you, I'm asleep this whole time. Not surprised Netflix.
Which I realized like after you didn't respond to the first two, so I definitely like wanted to text you more, but I withheld
there's
because
two
I knew
more.
you were likely not.
You didn't withheld that much. 2 more. Not surprised.
Oh,
Netflix,
come on.
10:52. Not surprised Netflix snatched it up, but dude, I can't wait till December. I'm so hyped. Yesterday, 11:59 p.m. And since it's coming to Netflix first, we can Netflix party it. Smiley face. Me, 6 a.m. because I'm a morning person. Yeah.
That's a totally reasonable number of texts. I don't see any problem there.
No. It's
I wait. See, you'll note that I waited. So like the gap in time between these texts, right? It's an hour-long presentation. It started at 10.
Yeah.
I had one that was sent at like 10:07 or something, and then I didn't text you again until the very end at like 10:52 with a recap text of the like the what I thought was the most salient points, right?
Yeah.
And then I texted you again a little later in the evening because something else crossed my mind, which is like, oh yeah, we can actually like watch it together even if we're not physically together. Okay, I'm fucking zooming. All right, okay.
I'm just trolling you.
I know, and I'm heightening my defend nature for the sake of the you're ruining the content.
No, quality content. Yeah. Well, that's great. We do have to catch our other friends up with JoJo pretty seriously. Cause, but if they do dump like half of them at once, then it doesn't matter as much. Cause like,
I'm gonna want to watch it all.
You can't. You're ruining your experience by binging it.
I'm not a binger. Believe me, I am not a binger.
You're a binge watcher.
And the reason I'm not a binger is because I usually can't do the same activity for more than 2 hours at a time.
Okay.
So I will watch it, like let's say it all drops at once and I have no inhibitions on when I'm going to watch it, right? I will probably watch the first like 4 or 5 episodes on the first day, and then I'll watch like 2 or 3 episodes a day after that. I suspect. I don't consider that binging, considering they're like 20-minute episodes, at least theoretically. I don't consider that binging at all.
I guess they.
I know people who are binge watchers.
They could drop.
I know people who are binge.
Okay, I believe you. I understand.
I don't think I'm in that category.
Yeah, I mean,
let me explain for the audience because I do think it's funny.
Okay, all right.
So this is when I realized I am nowhere near a binge watcher. So I was watching the anime Hunter x Hunter,
right,
which is like 150 some episodes, right? Over the course of like 2 or 3 months, I had arrived at episode like 120 to 130. They're all 20 minutes as well, of course. And around that time, I texted a friend of mine, and I was like, "Oh, I really like this show." Like I mentioned it at some point to her, right? And she had, I think maybe she'd heard of it, but she hadn't watched any of it, right? Like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I finished the show. Probably like 2 weeks later, I reached episode 150, and I think I mentioned that to her again, and she's like, "I'm at like episode 130." Like she got to where I was in like 2 months in 2 weeks, and it was then that I realized I am not a binge watcher at all. Like if we want to talk about binge watchers, let's talk about binge watchers. That is binge watching.
That is extreme binge watching.
Yeah.
Extreme and probably unhealthy.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's just like all that she would have been doing with her free time, essentially. Which, like, I cannot do that. I cannot commit so much of my free time to just one activity or show or whatever. I have to diversify it. Diversify my portfolio.
They take out this Entei. Do you know when Entei's bark volcanoes erupt?
I did know that.
Yeah, so if you don't take it out in one hit, like 15
trapped in the fire spin. Yeah, I hope it doesn't use roar. That would actually be like a cool ability. Like, you know, Pokemon's been doing, I think, more recently some cool, unique abilities, but like something that's like, oh, whenever this Pokemon uses a sound-based attack, like opposing Pokemon take like some fire damage or something. I would be totally different than anything Pokemon's done to this point, but
be like Yu-Gi-Oh. Cool. All right, well,
yeah,
this is a good place to stop. It's in the comments, write something entertaining for us to read.
nice call to action.
Next episode, we're gonna approach the next gym, hopefully.
Yeah.
Not beat it, but approach it.
Nope.
See you next time.
Alright, see you guys then.